Hello, friends. The 740 days of the war between Russia and Ukraine continues. In the village of Ivanovski near Bakhmut, heavy fighting is taking place, said Yevhenii, spokesman for the Eastern Group of Forces. While in the Bakhmut direction the enemy continues to attack the village of Ivanovski, there are fierce battles already within the city. Our military are heroically resisting and trying to push the enemy back from the occupied lines. The enemy is also trying to attack in the village of Avdiivka, which is north of the village of Chasiv Yar. Their airborne units, motorized rifle regiments, and army combat reserves are being transferred, Yevhenii said. According to Ukrainian telegram channels, if in Avdiivka the situation can be called relatively stable, then in Ivanovski the situation is extremely bad and may well end in the loss of the village. The enemy is preparing reserves to try to get close to Chasiv Yar. Judging by the map of the Deep State Telegram channel, the Russians control approximately half of Ivanovski. The rest of it is in the gray zone. Russian telegram channels write that the main battles took place over the heights north of Ivanovski. The Russian offensive continues west of Avdiivka. This area is now being emphasized by Commander-in-Chief Siersky, who announced the miscalculations that had been revealed and promised the dismissal of brigade commanders. Over the course of 3 days, it became clear why, in the case of the same manning levels of personnel, weapons, and military equipment, some brigades manage to hold back enemy attacks and hold positions, while others do not. First of all, it depends on the brigade commander, his level of training, experience, the ability to make adequate and informed decisions, and an understanding of the full responsibility for the implementation of assigned tasks and for the life and health of their subordinates, the commander-in-chief said. According to him, in some cases when the commander does not control the situation and actions and commands directly create a threat to the life and health of subordinates, I am forced to make personnel decisions. Zelensky earlier in his address said that Siersky received carte blanche for any personnel changes in the army. And after the commander-in-chief returns from the front at the beginning of the week, he expects him with a detailed report and specific proposals for further changes and our actions. Meanwhile, Bild military analyst Julian Rock says Ukraine's armed forces are struggling to maintain a defensive line along the water bodies west of Avdiivka. The Russian army, according to him, partially controls Berdichi, the southern part of Orlovka, and part of Tonenki in the Avdiivka direction. This means that this line of defense, which the Ukrainians, according to them, initially drew through 3 villages and natural barriers in the form of ponds, is only partially held. However, according to Ukrainian data from the field, fighting continues in all 3 villages. This means that the Ukrainians do not want to withdraw from there at some point without a fight, as was the case in Stepovy, Lastichkini, Yevhenii, and the same Avdiivka. But they are trying to bravely hold the front, stop the Russians at any cost, and prevent them from capturing these villages, says Rock. According to Ukrainian telegram channels, the enemy is advancing in Berdichi, but the attacks have been repelled. By the way, the Russians claim that they knocked out another Abrams tank in Berdichi. The Russians reported the destruction of the first American tank a week ago. Ukraine has not confirmed any of these cases. In Orlovka, the enemy continues assault operations with the support of tactical aviation and artillery along Yevhenii Street. The enemy also continues to accumulate manpower in the populated area itself to increase pressure and capture the rest of the village. Between Tonenki and Orlovka, the enemy somewhat improved its tactical position. In Tonenki itself, the southern part of the settlement is under Russian control, while the northern part is in the gray zone. The telegram channel of the 46th Brigade writes that the War of Reserves has begun, and this is a key stage of the battle in the Avdiivka direction. Firstly, the enemy brought the 74th Separate Guards Motorized Rifle Brigade from the reserve into battle, and at the same time began assault operations in the Krasnohorivka area in order to divert part of the reserves of the Ukrainian army. The enemy succeeded in this. The 3rd Assault Brigade had to be transferred there. In the near future, the enemy will use another part of our reserves, is about 1 to 3 regiments. Our command is also taking similar measures. Secondly, if it is not possible to neutralize the threat with the reserves of the Operational Strategic Group of Forces, we will have to use higher-order reserves, which may lead to the weakening of other directions. Thirdly, on the one hand, the occupiers are carrying out offensive actions on a wide front and in different directions in order to pin down reserves. At the same time, on the other hand, in order to play along with the transfer of reserves, the enemy even reduced part of its offensive activity in some areas. For example, in the area Yevhenii, Verbovi. In the event of the transfer of reserves from these directions, the enemy will abruptly resume assault operations in weakened areas, reports the Telegram channel of the 46th Brigade. Friends, preparing these daily reports has become my full-time job, and I have no other job for obvious reasons. There have been few views on the channel lately, which is why I ask for your help. If you have the opportunity to support me financially, I would be very grateful. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.